I think it's safe to say now that the Chevrolet Volt will have done for electric cars what the Toyota Prius did for hybrids. At first, many people were confused about what the Volt actually is. Many people probably still are. But the fact of the matter is that most people know of the Volt. This is the second generation of the car. It's been around for a couple of years. The question is it still pertinent? Is it still worth your money? Does it drive well? Should you get this or an actual electric car? In the following video, I will attempt to answer these questions. So your now handsome 2018 Chevrolet Volt starts at $41,045. For that kind of money, you get heated steering wheel, heated seats, satellite radio, and a whole bunch of other things. This is a Premier, which starts at $45,145. It throws in leather, Bose audio, rear heated seats, and a number of other touches. My car, my tester, is a Premier, but includes driver confidence packages 1 and 2. That's lane keep assist, forward collision, adaptive cruise, and a few other things for a grand total of $48,275. That's a lot of change, my friends. I really do enjoy the styling of this car. If you didn't know about the Volt, you'd just think that, well, this is a stylish 5-door hatchback. And it is. Really is. 17-inch wheels are standard on both trims of the Volt. Now I said 5-door hatchback. Really love that. I don't know if it's just me, but I always think that big glass hatches are so cool. Look at that vast expanse of glass. Anyway, trunk. This is very usable. 300 liters of trunk. I mean, this does not compare whatsoever with what you get in the Bolt. This is where you hide your cable. I'm not going to put that together, which is kind of neat, nice and clean. All right, so close the hatch. Back seat. Oh, I love this color combination of leather. This is one of the, you can choose this color when you get the Premier package, or Premier trim, I should say. The regular Volt is a 5-seater. This is clearly a 4-seater, which is annoying in a sense, but it's kind of cool at the same time. That's your center console of the cup holders, your heated seat functions. Good leg room, my driving position. Headroom is just right. If you're any taller than I, say over 5'10", you're done for. But the way it's kind of cut into the glass, it kind of works. Good elbow room. It's a good place to be, but right around your head, everything's very close. It's quite snug, especially compared to the Bolt. Up front, again, lovely materials. Really nice color combination. There's the Bose audio you get with the Premier. Hear my engine roar. Fancy noises. All right. So that's an 8-inch screen, configurable in a few ways. I love the fact that the information you get right there is exactly what you need. This is the other 8-inch screen. Features a number of lovely things. This is your audio. It's actually quite intuitive. The menus pop up here for Bluetooth radio, all of that. There's your navigation. There's your OnStar, as per. What's really nice, again, is the materials. The first generation Volt had horrible white plasticky materials, which for some reason Chevy decided to put into the Bolt. I hope that GM will fix that when they upgrade the Bolt. You got some nice storage down here ahead of the shifter. There's your drive modes, park assist, cup holders. This is actually pretty good as far as storage is concerned. Again, it's really snug in here, but it's really part of the roofline and the overall design. I think it works. Visibility is kind of buggy here, but you kind of get used to it because of it seems like the driving position is slightly elevated, but not that much. Anyhow, that's the interior of this lovely automobile. Now, about the drive. Yes, I know you're running. About the drive. Bolt or Volt? I could easily summarize this part of the video in the following way. If you're not sure whether you want a Chevy Volt or a Chevy Bolt, drive the Volt first, then the Bolt. Because, and this is what I'm experiencing now, I had the Bolt last week, have the Volt right now, and when I take everything into consideration, this car doesn't work as well for me. The main reason is that unlike the Bolt and the Leaf and a few other EVs, this car, even in its most aggressive regen mode, will not come to a full stop. I can't do one pedal driving. And if you spend enough time one pedal driving, as I have, you quickly realize how brilliant that is, how useful it is. Having said that, the Volt is still a brilliant car. In fact, one of the things I like more about the Volt than the Bolt is the ride quality. This car feels a little bit more refined, a little, it's kind of, I think it has to do with the weight, because this thing is a little heavier than the Bolt, and the ride quality. It's not quite as harsh as the Bolt. We're talking a few degrees of difference, but they are noticeable, especially if you drive them back to back, as I have. Now, this car has an 18.4 kilowatt hour battery. It's a small one, but it makes sense because this is an electric car with a range extender, which happens to be a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. The Volt is rated at 85 kilometers of pure electric drive, which is really good, which puts it up there with the Clarity plug-in hybrid. So right away, there's a big comparison between those two cars. That should be done. But I'm only kind of coming around to that idea. I've been very focused on 100% electric cars. Anyway, so total range with the gasoline engine and the electric battery is just around 500 kilometers, which, if I'm not mistaken, is about the same with the Clarity, which is about 100, officially about 110 kilometers more than a Bolt. And when you consider that both cost about the same, I know I shouldn't be doing a comparison between the two, but I cannot help myself. The Bolt may not have as good a trunk as this, but it does have a more usable interior as far as space is concerned, headroom and all of that. Okay, I'm really going off track here. Okay, the electric drive unit, the motor, puts out the equivalent of 149 horsepower and 294 pound-feet of torque, which are very good numbers. The torque number is higher than that of the Bolt, but given the extra girth, it doesn't feel quite as snappy. There are also, with this car, various drive modes. Right now I'm just in D. L, slightly more aggressive engine or brake regen. I've come to a full stop, but the car begins to creep forward. I don't like that. That's engineered in. That's what bugs me. So it should be easy for GM to just dial it off, dial it back. So just for fun, I'll go back into D. Then you have your drive modes, your little button right here. So I'm in normal. There's sport, which is jazzy a little bit, nothing fantastic. There's mountain, which I live in a pretty flat area, so I've not experienced that, but it kind of makes throttle a little bit sharper. And then there's a cool mode, and this is probably a big advantage over other plug-in hybrids, which this isn't, right? Such as the Pacifica hybrid, okay? You can go into hold mode, and what that effectively does is it locks out the battery, and you only have access to the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine to feed the electric motor and to get you going. which means that if you're going to be on the highway, which you know is the time when the batteries deplete the quickest, you can save your charge, do your highway stint, and then when you get off the highway, and you go boom, boom, back into normal, and then it unlocks your electric charge and batteries, and then you're back on 100% electric. And if I just go back to brake regen or engine regen, there is a pedal behind the steering wheel, just like the Bolt, which does the exact same job, but it too, despite being, the most aggressive way to come to a semi-stop, see now I can't pull back harder on the paddle, and you can see in your screen the background is still moving. That bugs me. For that reason alone, I definitely get the Bolt. Even if I do get a little bit less range. The Bolt, you get a little bit more performance, and it's 100% EV, which I firmly believe to be the answer, well, at least in this context. But again, the drive, it feels nicer than the Bolt, so there's a little bit of a compromise there. It's almost as though GM did it on purpose. Chevy went, how can we make one more interesting than the other without making one more interesting than the other? They managed to do it.